Sir, so nice to see you. And,
Yeah.
you look as young as ever, and
Oh,
with the smile and the energy that you have, despite all the Pune traffic and your teaching, and you are with so many association promoting Deming's philosophy. So, namaste, sir.
namaste, and thank you for your kind words and touch wood.
So, let me start a small introduction so that we.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because I realized that even if I have to take out, if I have to take a photograph,
Yes.
I need a permission.
Ah,
So then I said, why get into the copyright issue? So 123rd
yes.
birthday, born on 1900.
That's it. 14th October, 1900. That's correct.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Dr. Deming, and
Yes,
thanks for
wherever you
being
are.
there for us. Thanks for being there for us, and thanks, Balaji sir, again for being there for us and spreading the philosophy of Deming. And everybody knows you, but Standard Work, we're a founder of Deming Forum of India, Advisory Council member, Deming Institute. This Deming Alliance, is it the
Yeah.
one that you associated in England?
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. That's
And of
Brian
course,
Deeming.
and of course, as an
Group,
assistant professor, I remember you once quoted in one of the sessions very back in United States, you were asked to talk in Deming Institute, and you said you were seeding so that the youngsters.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
correct.
I'm sure years of your dedicated to quality, especially to quality, and then Deming. And I remember that you had this opportunity of meeting Duran in his house for an
That's
hour or so.
That's right.
And you have this series going on qualitist that you call it.
Well, yeah, it was. They have put it on hold now for
I see.
some time. They're kind of revamping some
Yeah.
of the stuff. They're going to call it quality bullets or something like that. And they're working on short videos because they felt that having, 45 minutes to an hour perhaps was a bit too much. So anyway, it's going to restart, but in another new avatar.
Yeah. So back to Deming, and happy birthday to Deming. And
Yes.
I was wondering that we, from 2001, I have you with me, and
2001, I think
2021.
Yeah, 21, yes.
So I'm sharing the screen. Just tell me
Yeah.
if you can see it. You
Yeah,
can see it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, there you go. Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
So this is our first time that 2021 that
Okay.
we wished. So I'd like to play it.
Oh,
Can you hear?
that is yes, very different.
Good evening, namaskar.
Yeah.
Today we have assembled to celebrate together Deming's Day.
And in this, we discuss the.
Get that? Why did you not get it?
Yeah. So this is all.
Okay. So now can we act on this? Can we do it again? Maybe with something with a few different changes in it.
So in this, we discuss the theory of knowledge, system psychological
Correct
thing, and their intermixing. And there you caught me by making how do you make a cup of tea. So then we met again. That was for the same year, 20th December, I remember.
Right.
So
Yes.
I just want to see you. There's no difference in you. You are more colorful.
Oh, that was in Boston. I was in Boston at that time.
You were in Boston, I think.
Yes.
That's the beauty about this greeting, right?
Yeah.
Independent of time. It's time independent. Doesn't matter which time of the day you greet that person with namaskar or namaste.
You're hearing your own voice.
Careful when I'm using the same terminology. So what Deming said of fear, there's a little bit of fear in me whether I'm saying the right thing.
Oh, come
I get a little confused. When I meant I get a little confused. So
So that was the hilarious time that we had, that it was because of fear that I'm slightly nervous. So that was a good episode, and
Yeah.
we talked about joy of work in that episode, and
Yeah.
fear, and then we came to the birthday that time, and this is where
Yeah.
we discussed. There we see you again.
Namaste, sir.
We always wish namaste.
Yes, we always say namaste.
So here we discussed about the various impediments or blocks, and we identified
And agreed
the-
upon
Okay. Yes.
best.
yes. So we
Agreed.
discussed.
The obstacles to improve.
So
Given our current level of knowledge.
this is what
mentor
we
me
discussed.
and make me understand these obstacles. And honestly,
So that's what we discussed
I have
about.
been
And the
studying,
last
I've been studying.
last one was last
Yeah.
this thing.
Mr. Balaji, sir, namaste.
Namaste.
And for the last 2 years, we started celebrating Deming's Day together. And 20th December last year, we remembered him. And that we used was intrinsic. And and that is something that captured me. The extrinsic can do certain extent, but the intrinsic thing that comes out that really propels you to excel more than what you really think you can do. Am I right to that extent?
So we talked about intrinsic motivation,
Yes.
optical systems. So then I
Right.
was really worrying as to now what are we going to discuss. So so because I'm still studying 12 days to Deming. Can you see this?
Okay. Oh wow, very nice.
So then I
Very,
thought,
very
let me, since it's a new climate,
Yes.
I think there's the right climate to resume the studies again. So
Yes.
one thing that is interesting, what he says over there is this that about Peter.
Peter Scholtes.
Peter Scholtes, that he says that we need to develop some rigorous practice and of good habits, and before we dispose of bad habits. And Henry Neave puts it very well that he has been talking in the past in the old climate about blocks and impediments and this thing. So he said, let's talk about the good things. And that's what this talked about, the reading that I gave. And in this, what was fascinating, and we did cover to a large extent, is one we covered to some extent joy of work when we talked about intrinsic motivation. Then we talked about innovation. So today I was thinking that let's talk about cooperation, win-win, which is the backbone of the new philosophy.
Absolutely.
It would be appropriate to call it the new climate, the backbone new climate. So, so I thought we would talk.
Yeah, we can do that. Yes.
So I did read up the book, since we were going to talk about it, and right from the page 51, keeps talking about it.
Yeah,
He says, and he starts by saying failure or adversarial competition.
yeah, adversarial.
Says
That's right.
if the economists understood the theory of human system and the role of cooperation in optimizing, they would no longer teach and preach salvation through adversary competition.
Yeah.
That's what he writes in this. Can you? I got every right to ask you to explain more about it.
Yeah, no, he said that the competition served its purpose, and maybe they got that part of it that we're trying to turn everybody, into rivals. What he was trying to say is that the complete knowledge, of anything you're into, whether you're into business or understanding the product or understanding the customer, complete knowledge is never available with one person all alone. So you need to work together, and that's why he said we need to cooperate. And he said that if you want to compete, you compete with yourself. Now, at the same time, he was talking about the free market competition, where he looked at it differently. He said our competition is with respect to how well we understand the customer and not to pull down somebody else. He said, and that's why I've heard many people say this, that he on the one hand said cooperation, and he said no competition, and then he says be thankful for a good competitor. What did he mean? Was he contradicting himself? No, he said that if you're playing a game of tennis, or there's a beauty contest, or there's a competition, a proper competition of maybe like a cricket or something like that, we all knew that there's going to be only one winner at the end of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. We started with that, right? There's going to be one winner. But he's saying in business, in education, there can be many winners, and the definition of winning is different. So he said that why do you want to bring down somebody else and to show yourself better? So he said you don't compete against, you compete with yourself. And yeah, and I mean that's basically what you're saying here. So in the free market, he says that if you come across a company that's understanding the customer much better, then they're going to expand the market and going to make things better. So you will also win. So don't look at them as a rival. So when you expand the market, not only do you win, others win also. They may win less than others, but everybody wins. So the winning, he said, you define winning differently. So if you look at it, in a very broad sense, how Apple redefined the mobile phone and created a different market, and we should all be thankful that everybody started growing a new business line, touchscreen, etc., etc. It's not that it was not there, but he redefined it. Apple and Jobs, they did a different job. So in that sense, he's saying that be thankful for a good competitor who is thinking big, not thinking small, of trying to put down someone else. And he said, if you're going to run your business looking at the other guy all the time, that's the best way to shut down your business. I mean, if Apple would have run their business looking at Nokia all the time, we wouldn't have seen the iPhone. And Nokia had 86% of the world market at that time. They couldn't be doing anything wrong, correct? But Apple showed that they were doing something wrong. And instead of looking at that as something positive, Nokia started looking at it differently. Now, I find this really silly, but Nokia made a statement. I think the CEO of Nokia made a statement when he was asked, what do you think about the iPhone? And he said, who wants a phone without buttons? This was the statement he made. Now, and then later on, when 1 year, almost 5-6 years later, when they had to shut down Nokia, he started crying like a baby at the press conference and said, "We did nothing wrong, and yet we lost." Which means he still didn't learn his lesson. He was still looking at Apple with contempt, which is what Deming was saying. You can't do that. You can never do that. And you look to try to enhance yourself, or not to put down someone else. And I believe the Japanese work like that, right? And that's what Deming taught them. I mean, among the other things, the statistics, and they knew about the statistics, right? Way before he landed there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
He
this
just broke down barriers, and he made them understand.
yeah, because even in this New Economics on page 40, he says, last month when I was in Tokyo, because you were talking about Japan, He explained that I attended a meeting of your direct competitors, 200 companies, tiny and huge, working together as a system, working on design of production, export policies, test and instrument, so that everybody's oscillation would agree with the customer's analysis.
Yeah.
They would from 8 in the morning till 9 at night, 13 hours a day, 5 days a week, reach consensus after some months of labor issue.
Yes.
So when you talked about the Japanese, how they used to get together, of course he does ask would American companies dare to work together, but that's
Yeah. So
holds good for us also.
correct. Correct. And actually, you know what, Doc? I think we are more in tune with with uh, with with Deming's thinking, right? You want to ask me, I don't want to sound racist here, but I think the Asians have a better grasp of Deming than the Westerners do. And it's more natural to us than it is to them. You know, the Lone Ranger, the lone cowboy riding into the sunset. And we're not like that. We've never been like that. And I think we're more adept. So I don't know why it is that we're fascinated with this Western mind of thinking and we want to copy what they're doing when you know, we have our own way of doing things. In fact, if you look at Deming's point number 4, you know, about working closely with your suppliers and things like that, I think here, without sounding communal, the Marwadi clan does business the same way. They look at their suppliers as an extension of themselves. They've been, you know, doing business together. They don't look at each other separate. Their families know each other, the supplier and the parent company. It's incredible. The kind of cooperation you get to see there is very, very different. I mean, I remember my first job was in a Marwadi company, and he had told me, this gentleman, that, you know, see, Reddy, you're the first educated person here, and you're going to face a lot of problems and all. And if there's anything to do with work, you can always bring it to me, and we'll discuss it and quality and whatever. So there was this issue with this one supplier, and I brought it to his notice. I said, Rakesh ji, this guy has been, you know, deplorable stuff, and I need you to look into this. So he said, of course, call him tomorrow. So that supplier came, and then he asked me, and we sat in front of him. So he said, yeah, what's the problem? Then I showed him, he was a supplier, you know, giving these caps which are used on the automobile bulbs. So I just said, this cap, look at it. And then he just looked at it. He, you know, made with daggers in his eyes. He looked at that supplier and just said one thing. Tum suthro, you please improve. मेरे बाप ने तेरे बाप के साथ धंधा किया, मेरे दादाजी ने तेरे दादाजी के साथ धंधा किया, मुझे भी तेरे साथ ही धंधा करना पड़ेगा. And unless you improve, I can't do that. I was surprised. I said, what am I watching? Is this some family drama? You know, what am I doing here? And that's what it is. And he said, that's it. So is there anything else? So I said, no, sir. Then I thought, what is this guy? What did I even witness? And I was a little disappointed. Now the meeting ended and I came back to my desk. And next day, this supplier came. And he came and said, Rakesh Bhaiya hai. And I said, Rahenge, dekhta hu. Then I went to the intercom and then I saw, yes, he was there. I said, yeah. He said, come, Aake, let us go and meet him. I said, okay. And he had a very forlorn look on his face. And so we went there. And then we sat in front of him. So, bolo kya hai? So this guy said, Rakesh Bhaiya, maaf karo. जब मैंने घर में बोला तो मेरे पिताजी मुझके ऊपर चिल्लाने लगे कि मैंने उसके बाप के साथ धंधा किया, तेरे दादा ने उसके दादा के साथ धंधा, तुझे धंधा करना पड़ेगा and improve, सुधरो. If he's saying improve, then improve. जो मदद चाहिए ले लो. I mean, this is the essence, you know, of what actually Deming was teaching the Japs. And they were, of course, not looking at it this way. But if you know what I'm trying to say, Doc, I think it's there in our psyche. And it's just that we've been, you know, I don't know, our minds have been twisted the Western way. Can I say that?
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, many of the guests who come on my podcast do acknowledge it from America that we in the East, the Japanese, the Americans, we have dialectic thinking. I mean, we don't argue that ours is the best. I mean, we tend to learn, and the others are American. This thing they do say even today, like in Deming's day, they believe in silver bullet. instant short-term thinking,
Yes.
and those sort of things which still exist. So, and talking about the Marwadis, I remember that when I used to visit Mr. Agrawal, he used to make these ironing rods which we use for construction in a
Mm-hmm.
There was one Agrawal who did his engineering in Jalna. His parents were into vegetables, etc. He started manufacturing these this thing. And many of the Agrawals took his help to start their own business. So this competition, rather cooperation, I mean, I'm sure they would have advanced more than this Agrawals, but they have the spirit of exchanging and looking
Yes.
for better.
Yes, they do.
So
So I think there is a lot to learn. So that's what he meant, and I think that confusion is very, very clear. When he said be thankful for a good competitor, he meant it in a very different sense. Not that he was against competition. He said there will be competition, but you should learn how to use this. It is competing with and not competing against. Because in competing against, you keep comparing yourself. In competing with, you just look at yourself and compare yourself with what you were and see how you get better. And then it's about looking at the market, free market. You look at the customer. Don't run your business looking at what the other guy is doing, right? If you that's like Usain Bolt trying to run, his 100-meter dash, looking at the other runners. I mean, he'll end up somewhere else. He had to look right in front. So that's the aim. That's the direction.
yeah, we
Yeah.
actually what you said is so true. There was probably 2 years ago, 1 year ago, when this athlete just looked back to find out how far the competitor was,
And he fell.
I don't remember, lost the first place.
Correct.
I remember this happening over there. The other thing that I wanted to ask you is, did Deming mean that competition maybe divides the same pie or pizza, whatever you want to say, and cooperation enlarges it because his entire thing, little that I know about it, but the general philosophy appears to be win-win for all, including as a matter of fact, including the human beings across the globe.
Yeah. See,
His
here's that one
vision was,
sentence which is there. Yeah, if you have the new economics with you, I think you have it
have.
right now. So you could go to, I think, page number 85, if I'm not mistaken, and you could read that paragraph which is there. I think it's page 85, if I'm not mistaken. It has the paragraph, the transformation.
Pictorial effect of transformation? No.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Can you see that paragraph there? The transformation will lead us to a new system of reward.
Yes, it says transformation will take us to a new method of reward.
Yeah, you could read the whole thing. Yeah, read the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll read it from the beginning. This is
Yeah.
on page 65. The transformation will take us into a new world, into a new method of reward. We must restore the individual and do so in the complexity of interaction with the rest of the world. Transformation will release the power of human resource contained in intrinsic motivation. In place of competition for high ratings, high grades, to be number one, there will be cooperation on problems of common interest between people, divisions, companies, competitors, governments, countries. The result will in time be greater innovation, applied science, technology, expansion of market, greater service, greater material reward for everyone. There will be joy of work, joy of learning. Anyone that enjoys his work is pleasure to work with. Everyone will win-win, no losers. That
That's his
actually
philosophy.
sums up
That's the
the
philosophy.
entire philosophy.
Entire philosophy.
So I think I would leave that message for everyone to realize it.
Yes.
And thank you for summing it up in such a beautiful way. And you remember it so by heart. And happy birthday to Deming. And,
Happy birthday to Deming.
and it is a new climate, and
Yes. Yes.
and I'm wishing myself that in a new climate, new atmosphere, I'll continue and complete for sure this 12 days to. It'll be just a beginning. Once I complete this 12 days to Deming, it'll be the starting to read what is said and understand it much better. Thank you very much, Balaji, sir.
Thank you.
A
Thank you,
mentor
sir.
to me, a
Okay.
philosopher to me. And what I appreciate in you, and I'm very personal at this, that you always inquired about my health condition when I was going through
No,
a
sir.
bit of
Yes.
a crisis, and I could make out how concerned you were. And once I said the tests were all well after my robotic surgery, you were so happy with this, and you told me it is a divine blessing, answer to all my prayers. And thank you very much for being there for me and
Thank
praying for me. Thank you very much, Balaji, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good night to you.
Good night, sir.